Okay, so we're going to be completing the Money in Your Life note-taking guide as well as the What Makes You Happy activity. So before you get started on the note-taking guide, you need to print out two items, the Money in Your Life note-taking guide and the What Makes You Happy worksheet. So we're going to go to Edmodo, we're going to go home, and we're going to go to the Consumer Ed group. We're going to click on Folders, and we're going to go to the folder that says Money in Your Life. I'm going to sort mine alphabetically so it's easier to find. And I'm going to click on, there we go, Money in Your Life folder. And I'm going to open up two files and I'm going to print them. The Money in Your Life note-taking guide. And you are going to print how you learn to print from a Chromebook. I'm not going to go over those instructions because that's a separate screencast that you need to watch. But just to review, you're going to hit print. It will take you to this sheet. You're going to hit save. It will load up Google Drive, and you're going to save it again, and that's what puts it in your Google Drive. Then you will open up your Gmail account. You will compose an email to Uniflow and attach the note-taking guide. Okay? So I'm going to close that. And the other document that you have to open up is called What Makes You Happy. Excuse me. And you're going to print that the same way. Okay? So I'm going to start now with the PowerPoint. You're going to be completing the note-taking guide and the What Makes You Happy simultaneously. You're going to be doing them both at the same time. Okay, so on the What Makes You Happy worksheet, I want you to think about if you were to create a list of things that make you happy, what would that list include?
Attention students, those students who would like their projects from Mrs. Taft's class, please come get them now. If you would like your project from Mrs. Taft's class, come get it now. Thank you.
Okay, sorry about that. Okay, so in column 1, I need you to make a list of 5 activities that you enjoy. Okay, 5 activities that make you happy. Maybe it's spending time with friends, spending time with family, going to the movies. Maybe you like to play football. Maybe you like to play tennis, play board games. Whatever it is that makes you happy, I want you to list them. Okay? So 5 activities. Then I want you to explain why that activity makes you happy. Okay? Put that in the second column. Once you get done with that, I want you to go to the third column. Okay? And you need to decide whether each of those activities cost any money. You are going to write down $2 signs if the activity directly costs you money. You're going to write down $1 sign if that activity indirectly costs you money, and a star if it costs no money at all. Now, most students have trouble figuring out what it means by direct or indirect cost. So direct cost would mean every time you go to do something, for example, going to a movie, you have to buy a ticket to go into the movie. An indirect cost, an example would be maybe a dance class where you have to pay the amount in the beginning, but you're going to 10 classes. So you don't really have to pay for those other 10 classes, but really indirectly you did pay in the beginning. Okay? And so here's the example, going to a movie theater. It does require money, double dollar sign. Okay, now here's an example of an indirect cost. Playing a video game, okay? That may not cost money at the time, but at some point, the gaming console and the video game probably cost you money. So that would be an indirect cost. So it may not cost money every time you play it, but at some point it did cost you money. That would be an example of an indirect cost. An example of something that doesn't cost anything is just hanging out with friends, which costs absolutely no money. Okay, so I want you to go ahead and fill out the first 3 columns of what makes you happy. Okay, so once you get done with that, we're going to switch over and go back to the note-taking guide. Why does feeling happy matter? Well, it does matter because a happy person has high well-being. And what is the definition of high well-being? It comes from feeling good about your life. Now, people who have high well-being have certain characteristics. Those are, they are positive, they feel gratitude, joy, love, enthusiasm, and satisfaction. They love what they do. They are actively engaged in activities such as work and play. They're in healthy relationships. Their relationships are loving and dependable. They find meaning in life. Their activities and relationships are important to themselves, others, and often involve giving. And finally, they feel achievement. They feel successful in their activities and relationships. So, what makes you happy? Okay? And that is what you should have been thinking about when you completed column 2. Okay? So, why does this activity make you happy? Does the activity make you feel gratitude, joy, love, enthusiasm, and satisfaction? Do you love or enjoy the activity? Do you lose track of time when you do this activity? Does the activity involve spending time with people you enjoy? Do you find meaning in the activity or feel it is important? And finally, does the activity make you feel successful? Okay, those might be some examples of what you might put in column 2, why that activity makes you happy. Okay, we're going to skip this. Now, well-being can be divided into 5 domains. Remember, you should be completing your note-taking guide as I go through this PowerPoint. The 5 domains are physical, intellectual, social, emotional, and finally, financial. Now, let's talk about each one individually. Physical. That means taking care of your body. Some examples include exercising and getting enough sleep, eating well, getting good medical care. That all contributes to high physical well-being. Let's talk about intellectual. Intellectual means gaining and using knowledge. So, for example, gaining and using knowledge and learning to solve problems would be included in this domain, and that will lead to high intellectual well-being. The third well-being domain is social. That means having a network of family and friends. Some examples would be having the network of family and friends, being a membership in a community or having membership in a community, a sense of belonging that all contributes to high social well-being. And then finally, emotional. That means how you feel. So some examples would be feeling a sense of worth and purpose and developing strategies to create a healthy outlook on life. That will lead to high emotional well-being. And finally, the 5th well-being domain is financial. That means your financial outlook. Some examples would be managing money in ways that build a sense of understanding, competence, and control, and that will lead to high financial well-being. So now we can go and finish column 4 on what makes you happy. I would like you to go through each of your 5 activities that make you happy, and I want you to assign a well-being domain to each of those activities. Is that activity physical, intellectual, social, emotional, or financial? Okay? And you need to figure out which well-being domain applies to each of your activities. Okay? Now, maybe all of them will be social. Maybe a couple will be financial and a couple will be intellectual. You do not have to have 5 different domains, but here's what you need to think about. Are you missing any well-being domains after you assign each of your activities to a domain? And then think about what specific things could you do that would contribute to your overall well-being. Another thing to look at on what makes you happy is how many double dollar signs did you have? Activities that directly cost you money. How many single dollar signs did you have? Activities that indirectly cost you money. Was there any activity on your list that didn't require money at all? That would be a star. And what does this say about